start recording. Oops. All right, we're gonna get going here. I'll just stop my sharing here. Okay, welcome everybody to today's virtual session. We have Grandfather Wanbdi Wakita with us today. He's going to be sharing about the Dakota clan systems and any other teachings that he would love to share with us. Just a couple notes before we get going. If everybody could just make sure to keep your mic muted, it'll help reduce on any of the background noise. And if you have any questions at all during the session, you're welcome to put it into the chat. There will be time at the end where I'll let you know when you can unmute yourself and we can have a question and answer period. I know sometimes people are too shy to speak their questions, so you can put it into the chat box or message me directly, and I'll make sure that Wanbdi gets those questions. But in the meantime, I will turn it over to Wanbdi. Wanbdi's a Dakota elder. He's currently one of the grandfathers in residence at the University of Manitoba. He's a well-known knowledge keeper, a very traditional man, and I'm so excited to have him with us today to share some of your wonderful teachings. So, Wanbdi, did you want to unmute your mic and we'll get started here? Hi.
Hi.
Perfect. All right. I'll let you take over from now.
I'm ready to go. Well, I don't know if I'm a knowledge keeper or not. People call me different names. In our Dakota way, there's specific names that they give us. I'm very glad to be here. Hello to all of you. Looks like I recognized a couple of names there. Hi to Margaret and to Jean Cathy. And I want to state right off the bat that I'm not sure if I'm the one to be talking about the clan system, because the way I understand it, Dakota has something similar to a clan system, but it isn't called a clan system. It's called helpers. So I want to share some of the things like that. Of course, my name is Wanbdi Wakita. It means looking eagle in the Dakota language. And the old man who gave me that name, Leo Menard, he when he finished the ceremony, he told me, "Your name is Wanbdi Wakita." And so I started using that name, not right away. I got that when I was 13 years old. But after I went through a series of things, I began to get serious of using my name like I was instructed to. And that's when things started to change for me. I'm glad I did. I'm glad that I listened. He was a nice old man, and I'm thankful that he done a ceremony, and that I would continue to use that name. So here I go. Of course, I'm kind of an older guy now, and I come from Dakota. I come from Sioux Valley, and I was born on a farm. There's 7 of us kids. Uh, just only my 2 brothers and I were left. All the rest are gone. They're gone home and looking after us. I'm thankful for that. This morning at 5 o'clock, I was up to make prayer, asking Creator to lend us good words, just like I hear my grandfather saying that. My grandfather lived with us for quite a while, and a few other of our family lived with us. Uh, all of a sudden, they were there. I don't know. I guess they didn't have a place to go or something, but they lived with us for a while. My cousin Archie and my cousin Mabel lived with us. So it's quite a deal growing up. When I was growing up, we had what I call a really, really good time. I'm glad that my mom and dad and my grandpa and my grandma and the rest of my family, they set a good foundation for us. That was one of the main things. And of course, that foundation I later learned came from up there where the holy ones are. And so I'm thankful. I'm honored that I would be living today. I went through lots of rough stuff, residential school and Canadian Armed Forces, keeping peace over there, and those are hardship stuff. Of course, my alcohol. I drank lots of alcohol, and when I started to realize what was happening to me, I stopped. It's good that I stopped. I'm I'm thinking that I heard the old people saying alcohol doesn't belong to us, and and I always said that I didn't want to be Washichu, a white person. I want to be. I want to remain Dakota, and so that's how I grew up. There's uh, a lot of things going on in my community when I was young. We usually got together with my cousins. There was a lot of us. And when we were young, we ran everywhere. All the boys, we ran. Oh boy. But first, we had to look after the farm. That was one of the rules that my dad and my grandfather had told us. You look after those animals. Even in the morning, the first one out the door was my grandpa and my dad. And then us two would go out the door. We'd feed the horses and the cows before we come in and eat. That's how they made it for us. And they told us those animals are sacred. And I found out that the horses are sacred. I really enjoyed uh, growing up with horses. When we were of age, at me and my brother, we I guess we were old enough, 8 and 9 year old. We got 2 horses. Our grandpa gave us 2 horses each to look after. That's quite a big deal. And I know the story about the horses, how we got the horses, and the songs that are attached to it. So So that's growing up was kind of like that. The other thing that I grew up with was what we're going to talk about, some kind of a similar to clan system. I'll talk about that. But first, I need to explain my growing up. My growing up was later on became significant to me. Taku Waka, something holy. I didn't realize it at a time, but I seen lots of images, lots of what I call tukashiras when I was growing up, and tukashiras means spirits. And um, and so, but I didn't know at that time. I didn't get scared. I seen lots of things, strange things, and people used to call them, those are miracle things. I say no, they're not miracle. Those are just regular things that would happen to a Dakota person, whether you're a man or a woman or a child or a baby. You would be shown those kinds of visions or dreams or whatever name you want to put to them. They seem a bit odd, but then when you grow up and figure out why those things you've seen, then you figure out what it means and what's the purpose of Creator and our ancestors showing us these things. Little men, for instance, I seen them twice in my lifetime, and we they call them as little men. We yeah. Uh, it's good to have them around, and fireballs up in the sky, all kinds of animals that come around real close. Those are, I didn't know that. Even a bird, I'm singing and the bird came and sat on my hand, and then it moved onto my lap just from singing a song. And all kinds of different things. A butterfly come in the middle of winter. It was witnessed by 25 kids, students, and 5 teachers in the middle of winter while it was kind of snowing and like it must be about 20 below. I had a fire outside and the kids were all sitting around the fire. And a butterfly came in from the east and landed beside me on the south side of the fire. And the kids witnessed it. But only one teacher, only one teacher is asking, why did the butterfly come? And it's a story. It's a holy thing, something holy. And the heyoka, the contrary, usually have that. And so I guess I didn't realize it, but I guess I must be part contrary. My wife's always calling me that. You heyoka. Those are funny things, just humor, but we take them as something holy. That's for sure. And are living a life that's pretty serious business, living a life. And so I experienced these sightings early in when I was young, and all the community ceremonies that carried on. The Scalp Dance Society by the women, the Omaha Society by the men, the Eagle Ceremony by my Koshi, my grandmother. All of those kinds of things were going on, and I witnessed them. But I didn't know anything. I wasn't I never thought anything of it, that in the future it's going to have a significance or an impact on me. And I would know the purpose and the meaning. And that didn't happen until much later, when I was age 28. That's when I started to realize certain things. And I had lots of good helpers and teachers. And, our family is like that. They had special gifts and stuff. And we don't really reveal those things. We don't really talk about them. So I'm thinking that all of the life experiences that I went through when I was young, I just wrote in my book this morning how my grandpa, when we finished the chores and had breakfast, I know where he's going when he grabs a little bag and puts it over his shoulder and puts that uh, little shotgun, a small shotgun he had, and he's gone deep snow. He's going hunting. Yeah. So I got to know those kinds of things, and the instructions that I got from my grandpa: get up early every morning, eat a muskrat in the springtime when they first come out, all of those kinds of things. And he would say, "Well, they're holy too," he would say to me about different people or different animals, the way things happen. And I know that horses are sacred. They know lots of things. And so it was pretty important to be able to figure things out, all the things that happened to me when I was young. I appreciate it now, of course, knowing that the purpose and the meaning of going through all of those visions and those dreams. When I was younger, of course, I didn't know, but my dreams and visions, they went without any action because I needed to understand what they're for. I needed to learn from that. I needed to practice that. I needed to understand what those dreams and visions are before I put them into action. I know those things now. They came to me after I started really seriously going into ceremonies, doing ceremonies. The things that happened was uh, were things that came from up there, Creator and our ancestors. And I experienced that many times. The medicine, I won't use a medicine unless Tukashida said that to me or Creator gave me that right to use a medicine. That's the only time. Same with ceremonies, different ceremonies, vision quest ceremonies, sun dance ceremonies, purification lodge ceremonies, the name giving ceremony, all of those ceremonies, they came from up there. It was my time to go ahead and put them into action. And I'm very thankful for that. And and if it was given to me by the holy ones, then I want to honor it and make sure that I do it the right way. And here's where part of that similar things to the clan system comes into play. The helpers that help me, and the spirit helpers that help me in the ceremony are the ones that when I do a ceremony, they would come in and they would help me with the ceremony. Not me, because I don't have any power or magic or whatever it's called. What I do is I make a space. I make a space, a nice space for the Tukashidas, the helpers, spirits to come in and do that work for those people that are need help. If somebody's sick, they come here, and we go into the lodge, or we go and sit by the fire, and the spirit, they'll come and tell us what we need. Use that kind of medicine, or go into the purification lodge, or whatever it is that's needed. That's what we would follow. That person that is sick, and when we do that, we he usually gets better from the sickness. I really appreciate that very much. So back at home, those names, we Waka, a holy man that knows some things, and does the work of the of Creator's work, or Pejut Vichashta, the one that handles medicine, and he knows he got those instructions from up there, and that's how he works. Or a Wapia, the one who's calls his spirit helpers, they come down, and that spirit doctors all the people that came there. So those are just a couple of those words that I've seen those kinds of people in our community. And so they do work together. They help one another, just like we rely on the holy ones, and then we go ahead and have ceremonies like that. The simple thing of having a little bit of tobacco in your hand and offering it to the Creator and our ancestors, and making a prayer, and then putting it in a fire. That's a ceremony. And lots of people do that. The way it's going to work, though, is that it'll have a truthfulness about that, a sincerity, a humility, a courage to be brave enough to go ahead and do that, to be generous. To if somebody asks you, can you make a prayer? Oh, sure, I'll make a prayer. I get some tobacco and I go and make a prayer. Especially now when COVID is here, they don't come here no more. We're going to wait until uh, a few more months down the road when they're able to come here. And then we'll start those ceremonies. But every Friday we still have ceremonies, and it's people phoning here and asking for prayers. Okay, we'll make prayers. And lots of people deliver tobacco here in the front steps to where there's a bowl, a big bowl. And people come here after they phone. We give them instructions. And they come here, and we ask when they get here, there's a bowl in the front, the steps there, just put it in there. We know why you're giving us that tobacco now. And we tell them when the ceremony is going to be. Friday at 7 o'clock. Make sure you go out at that time. Sit outside just for a little while, 10, 15 minutes. Make a prayer of the way you want things to go. And, and after you finish, you say thank you and put that tobacco on the ground. So, in a sense, the clan system, people say, well, I'm from the Wolf clan. So that must come from somewhere. And what I would say is it came from up there. For those people who have humility and sincerity, it would come from up there. Man, we went through this thing called man-made laws, where we thought I can make any kind of laws. It doesn't matter. I'll just go ahead and do them on my own. No, not like that. You got to make lots of prayers to get helpers, or to know your clan system, or to know your way. So it's the helpers are like that. That's what I understand. The helpers, not the clan system, but the helpers that I have, like the coyote, for instance, or a young man. He comes to help me. I know his name now. His name is Red Buffalo. And when he comes inside the ceremony, he dances powwow. And the other one is the red-shouldered hawk, the big hawk. And it came through here in the back here last week. It flew right in there, right past the lodge. I was saying, it's wintertime. I thought all the hawks are gone. But both of us seen it, so it's not a. So it's that's like a regular vision. What do I need to do with that? What am I supposed to do with that? Just let it go? I went outside, put a little bit of tobacco on the ground. Thank you for coming around here. See, you must come around here for a reason. Just let me know, and I'll be ready to do whatever it is that I need to do. That's the kind of a prayer that I make to that hawk when he went through here. Just like all the other times, 3 o'clock in the morning, I wake up. I must have woke up for some reason. So I say, okay, Tukashidas, you woke me up. Do you have something to tell me? I'm ready. I will listen to you. And so there's another spirit that helps me. It's a tree. It's a it's an old tree, and I hold those four things very special. And then there's the Heoka spirits that come around too. They also help in ceremonies. And so I'm thankful to have those. And what I do is I try to learn about them and understand them and do all kinds of things, sacred things. Try to take my time. Try to be, uh, be mindful of their presence and what do I need to say and what do I need to do. Why am I here to understand? I usually say my name, and they understand that. And I like to keep the ceremonial place real clean. They like that. Once they're used to that, a place that's nice, they keep coming back. And the other thing that I understand is the reason why they keep coming back is making an offering to them. What kind of offering? Well, the first thing they speak is the old Dakota language. I don't hardly ever hear that Dakota language, the old Dakota language anymore. But I do hear them speaking that old. Sometimes I don't understand. And I have to be careful. I have to really figure out what they mean. So I just don't put those things into action right away. I got to take my time, make sure that this is what I need to do. For instance, a ceremony that was given to me last year. I need to learn about that before I put it into action. It's something new to me, and I don't know too much. I ask around some people who know about that ceremony. So those are the things that I learned. So so of all the holy things that are around, they they help us a lot. If you ask, if you make a prayer and say, come down and help me. And if you make an offering, tobacco, soup, manic, whatever, and to say thank you when you're finished, that's when they start to answer. When you take your time, when you're really sincere. This I say this because some people, I see this, some people using this kind of a ceremony for a show. It's not a show. Holy smokes. This is serious business. And so we really need to take it seriously. And I could tell some of those ceremonies that are not working. And if you really, this is where that word humility comes in. You don't show off with that thing. It's you got to take it really seriously. You got to keep yourself in good shape. That's the one thing that I understand. And if you're angry and you try to go to a ceremony, it's not going to work. So it takes a few days to get yourself into good shape to go to a ceremony. And then you're asking for help from the holy ones. And that's pretty important stuff. It, it's got to be. And then the different kinds of ceremonies, like the Heyoka ceremony. It's not people walking backwards like I heard before. It's nothing like that. It's altogether different. Holy smokes. That's serious stuff, that Heyoka ceremony. I found out that the Heyoka ceremony is done sometimes together with the Thunderbirds. There's four Thunderbirds, and the main one lives in the West. And I found out that they work together, and they help people with health and weather. And that's what I learned in my case. It may not be like that for everybody. I'm just telling you what I experienced on my own. And when I put these things into action, they work good. So I'm really thankful that I got to be shown those things and to be given those things to do by the holy ones up there to Kashidas. I often think about my mother, my dad, my grandfathers, my brothers, and my sisters who are up there my grandmother. They're all up there, my aunties, my uncles. And I often think, which one is it that just came in through the door? Which one is it that make noise upstairs while I'm sitting downstairs? Who came in? Who are you? Here, have some tea. Have a piece of bannock or whatever it is, just offer it and ask them, are you here? If you're here to tell me something, I'll listen very hard, and I'll make sure that I understand it before I put it into action that way. And I always say, thank you, thank you. I always say that. I learned that. I'm happy to have good teachers when I was young. Lots of them. All of those old people, they're gone now. Next thing I know, I'm the grandfather. And I'm thinking, oh boy, I certainly don't know as much as those people did. That's for darn sure. I don't even know half the songs that they have. And I don't know how, there's my grandmother, for instance, she had a Eagle Society ceremony. There's 32 songs in that ceremony. I used to know, I used to listen and I got to know four, but she passed away a long time ago. And I got to know only four, but there's 32 songs in that ceremony. And she had two helpers, two young men to help her all the time when she does that ceremony. And I've seen her work. She does really good. She's so kind, and she's really got a great gift from Creator. So here's what happened to me when I was young. Of course, I was shown different things, uh, black dots in the sky, whistles coming from some direction, or a red light, a half of a red light on the ground, all kinds of different things like that. And then when I started to do ceremonies, the helpers that came to me, I didn't know who they were for a long time. 4 years it took me to even learn one of those spirits, their names. He finally told me his name, and he's the oldest one. He's about 600 or 700 years old. And I'm thinking, oh boy, am I ever honored for him to come and help me. And I always make prayer and I always offer food. So those things. So they're together. The things that I seen when I was young, and the ceremony, the helpers that come, and then the other Heyokas, um, spirits that come, like the butterfly and the beaver and the deer, the male deer with the horns, and the bear. They're part of that Heyoka ceremony, and the four thunderbirds. They're real big birds, but they look real weird. Somebody would call them an ugly bird, but they're really strong, powerful. And so I'm always thankful when the thunderbirds come around. I used to save the first rain water and use it to help people. I used to do that. And so that's how things started. And then there's these other things. Hey, wo pedo, this is Allah. One of those spirits would say to me, okay, thank you. I will learn about this. I want to do it straight. I want to be clear. I just don't want to do any old thing. I want to make sure that it's the right way. And the ceremony is not by itself. It's done with song, all kinds of songs. The eagle song, the sunrise, two songs for the sun, one before it comes up and one after it comes up. A water song, all kinds of songs that I was taught in a vision and in dreams to carry those ceremonies out. And I tried to do it the best way that I know how. And then how am I going to use ceremony? How am I going to do ceremonies? The pipe. Oh boy, that's a very strong pipe, and they're all done together. It's a road. It's a process that you go through, and then the medicines that help. So I gathered up all these things. I don't go around gathering stuff for nothing. I make sure that this is the one that I will need. And they showed me up there how to, what it is that I need, how I'm going to use it, and for what reason am I going to use it. So, and then I'm learning about human being laws. What about my heart? What about my two brains? What about my total physical body? What's going on with that? What about my heart? What about my spirit, my sacred spirit? How do I use that? So I learned all about those things. And I'm glad that I learned about those human being laws. I also found out that these laws, human being laws, are attached to natural laws that are out there. The natural laws like the sun, for instance, and the snow and the trees and the animals and the wind and the medicine, all those things, even the tiniest worm underneath the ground, even those. Things are done together. I learned that. And lots of strange things happen to me, like going inside my body and seeing all the muscles and all kinds of things, the oh boy, the tissues, the veins, and all kinds of things I seen. And I once was inside a buffalo, the buffalo that I was riding inside the buffalo head when he was running. That's a very strange thing to be part of. But I'm thankful. I say thank you to the buffalo. Now I have an idea why. And that old man, the two old men that was first given to that first old man, and then he passed it on to this other old man, and that old man gave it to me. And that song came from up there because the two spirits brought that song over. So you're not. It it makes me feel that I know very very little, and yet there's a whole thing out there that's all connected. And I'm honored to be a little part of that, to be able to learn that and to understand that and to take care that you're what is your part. I often say when I make a prayer, Creator, this is Wanbdi Wakita here. Thank you for the name you gave me a long time ago. I'm still using it. Thank you. Or the medicine that you gave me, that you showed me. Thank you for that. Here's a food offering. Here's some tea, and here's some a piece of rye bread or whatever it is. Here's some soup. I done some silly things, of course, when I was young. When I was in a hurry, we were rushing to get to a ceremony. We just finished our work, and me and my brother-in-law were going to the ceremony, and we didn't have time to cook. So we stopped by and got some Chinese food, and we took it over. Oh boy, how silly is that? we put it up on the altar anyway, that Chinese food. And I heard my grandpa, he's up there, he's been up there for a long time. I heard him say, "Oh, he said, this food is different," he said. So I had to laugh at myself for rushing around like that. That's a good teaching, you know. And also got reprimanded a few times, not to show off with that pipe, to hold it straight. Those are those are the reprimands that I got, and so I take it seriously. I don't. I try not to show off with that pipe. It means don't just do anything without authorization from them. If you do, they told me, your day will be no good. That's what they told me. Also, they gave me a buffalo song that I still use today, and a food song, a feast song that came from our people long ago, and the use of medicine, how you use them, and what songs do you sing to be able to. So those are the helpers that give that kind of instruction to when you're going to do a ceremony. You know, when you're walking around, whether it's sitting in your truck or walking in the bush or walking downtown, for instance, they advise you on what you need to do and how you need to do things. And they do that because they want to protect you. Creator gave me that job. And now these Tukashiras are protecting me. I'm very, very thankful for that. For that reason, I want to do things good way. Really, I really want to do things good way. So let's make a break here. Amanda, if you can hear me,
Yeah,
can you ask if there's any questions so far?
yeah, for sure. We can take, let's do a 10-minute break, and then if anybody has questions, we can ask them when we get back.
All right,
All
don't
right,
go far.
yeah, grab some tea, take a bathroom break, some fresh air, and we'll be back in 10 minutes.
All right, thank you. Now let's see what I have to do with this thing here.
There should be a mute. Oh, there we go. If anybody has any questions during the break, feel free to put them into the chat box, and I'll read them out to Wanbdi when we return. Or you can speak your questions. I'll let you know when to unmute. Yeah, we'll be back in 9 more minutes.
How are you, Bill? How are you doing?
I had to mute. I got a coffee here. Hold on. I swallowed coffee wrong. No, I'm doing okay.
Good
Doing
show.
well.
Yeah.
Trying to hang in there.
Yeah.
Hoping that we get to a point in our world here that we could get back to doing the things that we need to do to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
Back to sweat lodges and ceremonies, and I miss powwows. I miss going to powwow. Yeah. Other
How
than
are
that,
things
no.
going, Amanda?
You ready to get going again?
How are things going over there?
Things are going really well. We've been pretty busy
Yeah.
here at Anish. Eva's organizing a lot of different teachings that we can do online. So it's very exciting, very busy, but good. It's like a good busy, very, I definitely appreciate having the opportunity to moderate most of the sessions. It gives me a chance to sit and learn from everyone. Yeah.
They're advertising your whole position. You don't want to go over there?
Oh, at the NCTR?
Yeah.
No, I appreciated the work there, working there while I did, but on to new things, I think.
Yeah. Are you there, Margaret? I can't see you.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm here.
How are you these days?
I'm doing good. Just coping with this pandemic that's going on.
Oh,
I had a wonderful surprise this morning at 3:25, but I'm being tight-lipped about it from my son. So
oh,
yeah, I ended up becoming a second Kushi.
oh, right on.
Yeah, to a baby girl. So
Good
yeah,
stuff.
very excited about that. I cried on and off yesterday, just being happy about it, and today too. I'm still very happy that she came into this world. They had to boost her lungs when she came out. So
Oh,
yeah, so I'm very glad that she's here and waiting for her to meet her big sister. So yeah, how are
good
you
show.
doing?
I'm good.
That's good.
I guess you know what to name that your granddaughter, right?
Yeah, she was named way before she even arrived. So they named her Jersey Lee.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I can't wait to meet her. We'll be FaceTiming with them later on this afternoon. So I can't wait to see her and hear her little coos. And I'm just excited. No video today because I'm driving out to Whitecap right now. I got to go pick up a client. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, well, it's good to hear from you.
you too. I'm enjoying this.
All right.
And to Jean Cassie, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh yeah. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Yeah. Sorry about that young man in Calgary.
Yeah. Oh, not so
He was,
young anymore.
yeah, he was in the same time as we were. Only he's in a different outfit. He was with Calgary, Queen's Own in Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
Him and the other Cliff from back home. And we were in Edmonton with the PPCLI.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. How are the kids doing?
Pretty good. Yeah. It's
They're still
getting,
wild.
they can't wait till it melts, the snow melts.
Yeah.
Me too.
Okay, are we back or?
Yeah. So there's two questions in the chat. I can read them out for you. I don't know if you have your chat open, but the first one is from Gail. She said that she's from Manitoba. She's was part of the 60s scoop. Her sister gave her an ancestral pipe, but there were no teachings with it. She lives in New Brunswick, and she had a ceremony that said 4 years to smoke, and she has 1.5 years left, but she still doesn't have a teacher. She doesn't know how to go forward. So she's in New Brunswick and she is Dakota.
Well, it's good to hear from her. So you keep in contact with us if you want, if you wish. Both probably my wife would be the one to be helping you with information, and then and when she's finished the initial information, I can give you some information as well too. So I'm glad that you would have a pipe. That I hope it came from a good place, and we'll share more information about this if you
Okay.
wish. I'll be glad to support and help as much as I can.
That would be fantastic. I would really appreciate that. It wasn't anything I was expecting, that's for sure, but all of my female relatives are all dead. And, and I feel heartbroken that I have this and it's not being used for the people. It's heartbreaking. So I'm just like, I don't know, like, but yes, I will be in contact and we'll talk more.
Sure, we'll get on Zoom. Either
Okay.
we could send you one, or if you give us your information, we could contact you that way.
Okay.
My wife can
Thank-
send you the password and ID and stuff.
Okay.
So
Okay. Thank you.
Amanda, can you make that happen somehow?
Yeah. Gail, if you'd like to send me an email at this email address, I just put it into the chat, then I can connect you with Wanbdi via email and you guys can arrange for a meeting.
Okay. Perfect.
Mhm.
Okay. I will do that in a bit here. I'm just on the road. I'm just coming home from work.
Mhm.
Okay. I will.
I've
Okay.
also,
Thank you. Again, much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you.
I've also put Wanbdi's website. So Fahan and Wanbdi have a website with more information about the work that they do, and that's there as well, bearpawtp.ca. But the second question in the chat, Wanbdi, it says, I went to a sweat, and when I came out, I was walking around, and I sat down, and there was 2 eagle feathers. I was wondering what I am supposed to do with them. Is there some way I should be keeping them? Thank you.
That depends on how you got the eagle feathers. So maybe I'm not hearing so good.
Yeah.
It came out of the purification lodge. It's not a sweat lodge. I'd like you to use the right words, purification lodge. And when you came out, you have 2 eagle feathers. Is that what you were saying?
She wrote that when she came out of the sweat, she was walking around and sat down, and then there was 2 eagle feathers there
Oh yeah.
out after the sweat.
So she just found them. That's hard. That's hard. She just found them on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So keep them for a while. Something might come of it. Keep them for a while.
Yeah. And then Kristen just wrote Tankansidans. They visit my daughters and I often. How do I leave offerings for them? And do I always leave offerings for them?
That depends. That's kind of I need more information for that. You're wanting to. By the way, I can't really hear too good on this. I don't know what happened. So
Can you
I'm
hear?
wondering. Can you say that again?
Yeah, so the Takanshidans,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm saying it right. Takanshidans, they visit her daughter and her very often. How do they leave offerings for them? And do they always leave offerings for them?
Every once in a while, it'll be good to do that. You don't have to do it every day. Just whenever it's a good time for you. That's when you would feed. How do they know that it's the Tukashiras that are coming? How do they know that?
She didn't elaborate. There's.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, there's different ways. It's very it's a mystery. Our people call it a mystery. We don't know how, when it's going to happen, what's going to happen. We don't know any of that stuff. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock, we don't know what's going to happen. So it's up to them. When I do a ceremony, it's going to be up to the Tukashiras to come into the ceremony to help. All I can do is request it. What if they were busy that same time and they were over to another place to do the work over there? And when they were finished, maybe they can come to this ceremony. So it's all kinds of different ways.
Is there something specific that you give for offerings? Like I know some people do tobacco,
Yeah.
or a spirit plate. Like what types of things do you offer?
My offering this morning was a cup of tea and a piece of bread. I said, "This is for you. Thank you for waking me up this morning at 5 o'clock."
Mm-hmm.
So if you have something, the offering, the way it needs to be, if there you see a person that does ceremonies, you can make offering and put it on the altar if they're doing a ceremony. Or else if you're alone and you're way out in a country somewhere, you wanted to make an offering, take some tobacco out there. If you don't have tobacco, get a piece of apple or something and go outside and make a prayer and put it on the ground. You're making offering for some reason. And if you could figure out what the reason why you're doing that, then it'll be good if you can make an offering, because that's how they're going to answer your prayers, is to make an offering.
And sorry, just a reminder, Takanchidan, that means the spirit or the helper.
Yeah, Tukashira is translated grandfather. For the sake of using just that one word, it means that spirit could be a child, it could be a young girl, it could be a young man, it could be a grandfather, it could be a grandmother. But just for that word, Tukashira, they use that grandfather to mean spirit, sacred spirit. And it could even be, in my case, when we have ceremony, sometimes I call the eagle hawk, the red-shouldered hawk, and it comes in, and you could hear the big wings inside the lodge, purification lodge. So it could be an animal, the thing that have wings, or you might hear something. Whatever. You might, even the stones, there's certain kinds of stones that look after. There's a bowl upstairs. Those stones keep coming. and they're filling up that little bowl. But every once in a while, one of the stones disappear. They go somewhere else. Those are tukashiras as well. Or it could be a medicine, some kind of medicine. You're this man's auntie. She said 2 weeks ago there was a really strong smell of sweetgrass. She said, I don't know why, but I don't have any sweetgrass in this house for 6 months. And all of a sudden, I hear this really, I smell this really strong smell of sweetgrass. So the nephew, the young guy, the nephew uh, says, Auntie, 2 weeks ago, we made a prayer and we sent prayers over to your house. So that's why you got a strong smell of sweetgrass, maybe. That's so everybody has the animals or the trees or the the medicines or the wind or people, when they turn into a spirit, they can come and help us. And you'll be able to hear them. Sometimes you see them, sometimes you're going to smell different things. So those are the spirits, those are tukashiras that come, and they come in very many different forms. But our response would be, thank you for coming. Thank you. So, and make an offering.
Mhm. I think that's all the questions for now. Did anybody have any questions they'd like to speak?
Yes, I do. I'm sorry to take up the time. I have the second question. Part of the 60 scoop, I was sent to my grandmother's on White Bear Reserve, and I stayed with her for I think about a year and a bit. And you know, when I stayed with her, she was like, there was like ceremonies going on with the men, and we weren't allowed to go. So like the purification one, it was just men only, not Dakota women. And then the other one was the men's ceremony for Sundance. We weren't allowed to, when my grandmother told us we weren't allowed to go to those ceremonies as women, as Dakota women. So I'm living in New Brunswick, and luckily I talked to my grandmother on the phone before she passed away, and I asked her about, like, what about the ceremony here? Like, am I allowed to go into a lodge? Because the women here go into the lodge, and the women here, they carry drums. And so I've been gifted a drum. So I know a lot of the songs from the drum songs from here. And I hang out with like the elders here. I love my life here. And like, it's beautiful here. And and but I'm finding like I'm very alone too, right? So I'm just wondering, like, should I still, like, should I be going to those ceremonies? Should I be participating, even though I'm a Dakota living in Wabanaki territory or Wolastoqey territory?
You know, you're already doing ceremonies of different kinds. Making prayers is a ceremony. Having medicine and using them, that's a ceremony. So if you make prayers, you can ask Creator, and if you decide it's okay, you can ask somebody if they wanted to accept you to go into their lodge. You can do those kinds of things.
Okay.
And if there's anything that you missed, you can always ask for forgiveness. Creator is so kind and loving. Creator is not going to hurt you. Creator's not going to hurt you. Creator will love you. That's why the ceremonies are given to us. It's true that long ago, some areas they didn't allow certain people, but now we're finding out that long ago women made decisions. And the decisions of the women made were given to the men to carry out. So we live in a matriarchal system long ago. And then the men thought they were smarter and they wanted to take over. And boy, we made a mess of things, didn't we? So now we're trying to go back to the original way of doing things. But we have to agree. You can decide who you are. You can decide which language you speak. As long as you make prayer to Creator and say, help me, I want to do good things. And away you go. Creator will give you that road. Real good way. So
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
There's another question from Carrie. She asks, how were the ancestors chosen for societies before? She heard that it was by family relations, but also by spirit.
yeah, most all the long ago when the world was new, oh boy, this place was holy. And then people came along and kind of spoiled it a little bit. They done ceremonies without authorization. They another group came in and decolonized us, and all kinds of stuff went on. No wonder things are having people are having a hard time nowadays with this what I call something holy. So we really have to take care to really truly understand what this mystery is, what this sacredness is all about, so that we can carry those things on. Every once in a while, somebody gets Creator tells one of our ancestors to Kashiras and say, take that work down to that person over there. Is he's gonna or she's gonna have a Sundance now. All kinds of stuff that come from up there. That's how they get. In some cases, in some tribes, I understand that they pass their their goods, their stuff to their family members, the younger ones, when they're ready to go home. I understand that's what some tribes do. But my way, like the ones that I understand, is that everything comes from Creator. And if we follow that, generally things work out good. Don't forget now, culture came from Creator. Don't forget that culture, which is language, songs, ceremonies, prayers, all of those dances. Those are cultural things and they come from Creator. And the man didn't make that up. Man tried to take over, but it doesn't turn out good. So when you carry out something holy from the spirits, it's usually pretty good. So if you can, that's the way I'd see it.
I think those are all the questions for now.
Okay.
Oh, there's a long question. One second. I'll read it out. Ani, my name is Abigail. My Anishinaabe name is Anjanikakwe, which means light spirit who brings Creator's truth. Direct English translation to angel. My family is Eagle Clan, and I'm from northern Minnesota and Obajuwan northern shore of the Great Lakes. I'm Anishinaabe Lakota, currently living in unceded Silex land. I am very happy to listen to you speak today. My mic and video don't work, but I'd like to ask if you've heard stories of winged human spirits. My mother raised me in the culture with much knowledge, yet we still don't know much. I've heard lots of lessons in your words today, and I'm very honored to listen. Miigwech.
Hmm. That's again, make lots of prayers and decide which culture, because when the spirits come, they're going to speak your language. Whether you're Anishinaabe or a Cree or Dakota or whatever, when you make your prayers, that's why I always say, make sure you know your culture, practice your culture, and get to know what it is, whether it's Italian or Chinese or whatever it is. You learn your culture and make prayers. When you do that, Creator's the one that gave you that culture. Creator's the one that placed you on this earth. And if you follow that, things generally turn out good. So that Abigail, I guess you'll have to learn which of those. Maybe I don't know whether you're going to do carry both cultures, but you'll have to figure out which, because that's one of the things. Identity is one of the things that's really important. Identity, believing in something, uh, carrying out your gift, forming an attitude, all of those kinds of things is part of having a name, speaking your language, using, having a song that's given to you, uh, find out what your colors are through ceremony. So none of those can be done just by man telling you. It's got to be a ceremony. And the Tukashiras will bring you those things if you ask. So those are important things to go through. It's a lot of things. It's not just very simple. So it's a lot of things.
She was also wondering if you have ever heard stories of winged human spirits.
Winged human spirits.
Yeah.
I wonder where she got that from.
Yeah, she said, she doesn't say, she said her mother raised her in the culture, and they knew a lot, but still there was a lot to learn. So I guess she had heard of it, but she didn't know much about it.
Yeah, maybe that stuff is just for her. But what I seen in the bush was black-tailed deer. You know what they are? They got great big ears and they got a black tail. And my grandfather said, "Don't shoot these deer. They're holy." So I became a conservation officer for a few years. And when I went out into the bush, here was a black-tailed deer standing there looking at me. And from his head up, his head part, it was a horse. 2 years later, I seen another one. And this time his head was a man. So they are holy. So maybe she's experiencing that. And it could be anything. It could be anything. So that's Creator showing you something. And when you get shown something, we have to learn about that. We have to practice that. What did I see? Did I really see? And then maybe you got to understand why this is coming to me. The man bird or whatever it is. And then once you figure that out, then you put it into action. Perhaps that woman needs to do something with that human
Yeah.
bird or whatever it is. Perhaps she needs to do something with
Hmm.
that sighting.
Thank you. Um, Bill asked, when we get to the north door and the end of life, what do we do to prepare?
Everybody travels from the south to the north. Creator is going to turn you around as you're traveling to the north halfway through your life. Is going to turn you around and you'll start walking back to the south. Somewhere in between walking back to the south, Creator is going to send two spirits to pick you up and take you home and take you to the west. That's quite a big travel. And while you're going through there, you'll have to go to the land of judgment. I went up there. There's 21 people sitting there beautifully dressed with blankets and a big long carved table, fancy, fancy stuff. There's 21 people. I don't even know why I know there's 21 people there. But I'm thinking it belonged to the days December 21st, June 21st, March 21st, September 21st. Maybe that's the connection there. But there was three of them that asked me. And the third one was the one that sent me back to Earth. So that's the travel. North, south, you're walking towards the north. Halfway of your living, the Creator turns you around and you're walking back south. At a time when Creator says you come home now, Creator will send you two spirits to pick you up and take you back home. And your body goes back into the ground, your spirit goes back into where it came from. Those are quite a story.
Are there things that you do, I guess, when you're older to prepare? Like are there specific ceremonies associated with kind of reaching close to the end?
Yeah, Creator will be the one to give you authority on those kinds of things. Tukashidas will be the ones to tell you. You know, there's four different things. There's a teaching that come from the holy place. Creator is going to show you something, give you something, or Tukashidas will tell you something. Those four things, and it'll be good. Don't be like me. I'm deaf in my old age. So if they give me instructions, I hope I can still hear them. But at the end, you'll get instructions. You don't have to worry what kind of instructions or anything like that. Just live your life in a loving way. Creator will look after you. Creator will look after things for you.
Mm-hmm. Are you comfortable to continue going through some questions? I'm not sure if you had more to share or if you just wanted to continue with questions. There's two more in the chat.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So Stephanie says, I am a Dakota woman who was raised without my culture. My own mother was sent to the boarding school in South Dakota and then raised by missionaries. She did not teach me any of our Dakota teachings. I do not fault her. She herself simply didn't learn because she was removed from her people. I am strongly called to receive a Dakota name, but I do not live near my people and have no knowledge of how to go about requesting a ceremony for this. Is there any hope for me to receive a Dakota name?
Yeah, good. Make lots of prayers. Someone will come if you find that person. Uh, Looking for the right person. There's not just anybody can give you a name. Creator has to appoint that person to be able to give names. So your search will be a good search. Make sure you take your time and find the right person to give you a name. That person, when you ask, is going to make a prayer, have a ceremony, and the spirit is going to come down and he's going to say, "This person, her name will be this, and the reason why they got that name is this reason." You'll get to know those kinds of things, but the thing is to get the right person who does those kinds of things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then,
So
oh,
so if there's a Dakota person, we don't have that clan system. We have the spirit helpers
mhm.
to help us along.
Margaret asked about clans, but I guess the question would be more, how do you find out who your spirit helper is? Do you ever know who your spirit
Some
helper is?
Yeah, sometimes when you keep yourself real good shape, uh, a lot of people do not realize that they do have a spirit helper helping them. It's just us getting into shape to figure out, oh, what's going on? Things seems to be going good, or things are not going so good. Maybe I need some help. And again, it's prayer time, So, and it's not all people are going to have spirit helpers, but most people would get spirit helpers. And when you make prayer, when you go to ceremony, you might get a spirit helper to help you. Or if you see something all the time, I see eagle hawk all the time. I see coyote all the time. Wherever I go, even in the city, that's pretty strange. And I know why. Those are going to be my helpers. And they were. They came and I used them. So you watch out for those kinds of things. Be aware, if you see something all the time, maybe you'll be just like my friend. His helper is a skunk, and you could smell him when he comes by. So and that, even though it sounds funny, it's really true. His spirit helper comes and you can smell that skunk, even though he's not there. It's a spirit skunk, and it smells. So all kinds of different things happen like that. So it's good to always be aware and keep going to ceremonies. Your road, that's what you're going to see. Make sure you stay on your road. Make sure you go through some of these things and search to see, do lots of research and talk to the old people. They'll give you lots of information regarding your living. Human being laws, remember now, human being laws, natural laws, and spiritual laws. Those three things. That's what you would go through in your lifetime.
I think those are all the questions for now.
Okay.
You wanted to talk a bit more?
Yeah. Let me tell you a story. Oh boy, this is a true story that happened to Dakota people. And this is the one about similar things to the clan system. This is what happens. There's 500 teepees. And early in the morning, the chief came out of his teepee and he says, he's thinking he had a dream. The sun comes up in the morning and goes down in the evening. I'm going to call a council meeting because I want to know if there's an end to this world. So he calls the Eapaha, the town crier. And this town crier goes to the 500 teepees. That's a big deal. But he knows exactly where those council members live, in which teepee do the council members live. And how he knows that is the pictures on the outside of his teepee. Everybody has pictures outside of his teepee based on their dreams and their visions that they got and his name, all kinds of things. So he found them real quick and go to the chief, go to the council teepee. The chief wants to have a meeting with you. So they all go there and they go inside. It's a great big teepee. They all go inside, they sat down, they made a prayer and sang a song. Now they're ready for the meeting. So the chief gets up and he says, I want to know if there's an end to this world. So the council members, they started to have a talk about that. And they agreed, well, let's figure that out. I think that's a good thing to figure out. So they picked 4 men, tall, strong, fast, not yet with women. They gave them extra moccasins and papa, dry meat. It's easy to carry, and they're hunting along the way anyway. And they had a ceremony, with those 4 men had a ceremony before they left. And the ceremonial leader says, go to where the sun goes down. And away they went running. They're running all day and they're running for 3 or 4 days. Early in the morning, one of them woke up. They were sleeping on the side of the hill, in the middle part of the hill. Wake up, I heard something, he called the other 3. And when they woke up, they peeked around the corner. And here was this strange man facing the other way, facing towards where the sun goes down. And pretty soon, he's not of their kind. He's not Dakota. They know that right away. They went back into hiding and they said, what are we going to do? We got this strange man. One of them said, we got a big job to do. We got to go around and get going. He said, it's already, The other one said, this man is not of our kind. Let's just kill him and get going. And the third man, he says, he said, there's a reason why we came across this man. And we need to go and find out what. And all of a sudden, that man down there, he says, hey, you 4 up there, you come down here. I have something to tell you. Oh, they were surprised because he knows there's four of them up there. And he's speaking Dakota. He's not of their kind, but he's speaking Dakota. So then they talk again and say, well, what are we going to do? Well, there's a reason why he's here. Well, I think we should go and see why he's here. And he's speaking Dakota. He's still not of our kind, but he knows we're up here. He knows there's 4 of us up here. We got to go down and see him. So, okay, they agreed. Finally, they went down there. When they got down there, there's a strange man. He had a small little fire going. And they told us he had a white blanket around and he had wood on his feet. And they said he even had hair on his face, he said. So when they went down there, that strange man, he says, you sit here on the south side. I have something to tell you. Oh, he speaks good Dakota for a guy who doesn't look like a Dakota. They sat down, and as soon as they sat down, that strange man, he grabbed a handful of grass, he rolled it up into the ball, and he threw it into the fire. White smoke came out, and out of the white smoke came this little animal. Oh boy, a nice little animal. 3 or 4 feet high. deep, deep red. Nice little animal. Came out and standing there. And again, that strange man, he rolled up some grass and he threw it. White smoke came out. Another little animal, same kind, but this time is a white one. He went and stood beside that other one, just quiet, just standing there. And that strange man, he grabbed another handful of grass, he threw it in the fire. And another animal, same kind, a yellow one, came out, stood beside that other two. Three little animals, nice looking little animals, just looking around. And the last time that strange man rolled in some grass and he threw it in the fire, white smoke came out, and out came another little animal, a black one. Four little animals standing there. And that strange man, he said to them, these animals, they're going to help you in the future. And you need to look after them these 5 different ways. Talk to them. Don't hit them. Let them eat grass. Let them drink water. And sing them this song every once in a while. And away he started to sing that song. And that song is about, look, look, they come a dancing. The red animal come a dancing. Have a look. Look, look, they come a dancing. The white animal come a dancing. Have a look. Look, look, they come a dancing. The yellow animal come a dancing. Have a look. Look, look, they come a dancing. The black animal come a dancing. Have a look. And then he said to them, you, those 5 things, make sure you remember them and take these animals home. He said, here, you can go no further. He said, there's a big body of water here. I'm going across that water, he said, but I know where your camp is, he said, and I'm going over there. And if they don't kill me over there, I'm going to come back and come to your camp. Oh, they said, thank you. Koda, they called him Koda, friend. And they shook hands and away they went. They took these animals home. When they got home, they told the chief, we met this strange man and he gave us these 4 animals. And he told us to look after them those 5 different ways, he said, including this song. And so that ceremonial leader, he got the 4 men and he put them into the ceremony with the 4 animals close by. And they had a ceremony. After the ceremony, the ceremonial leaders said to them, from now on, these animals, they're going to be called Shunka Wakan, holy dogs. That's what they're going to call them from now on. And today, those animals, they're quite a bit bigger now. They're maybe 14, 15 hands high. And they're still called Shunka Wakan, horses, translated into horses. And they're holy. So today, when you bring those horses into a ceremony, and I'd invite you to come. If you go to a ceremony where there's horses, they bring those horses in, and if they sing that song, the horses dance. When the last one I went to was my nephew, he brought in 5 horses. And right away I said, okay, boys, let's sing that song. So we started to sing that song. And only 3 of them danced. The other 2 didn't dance. So that means those 2 didn't get the 5 ways of raising those animals. Only the 3, they raised them up really good way, the way that they were told to raise them up. That's the way. So today, we still sing that song, and those horses, they still dance. And the song, I like to share that song with you. And it goes something like this. And of course, those colors, the horses' colors, they belong to each direction. Red to the west, white to the north, yellow to the east, and black to the south. That's the way the song is sung. And it goes like this. Wa ya ke yo yo wa chi a u e ro e shuka shawa wa chi a u e wa ya ke yo e wa chi a u e wa ya ke yo he wa ya ke yo wa che a u e ro e shukas kawa wa che a u e wa ya ke yo he wa che a u e wa ya ke yo he wa ya ke yo wa che a u e ro e shokaze wa che a u e wa ya ke yo he wa che a u e wa ya ke yo he wa ya ke yo wa che a u e ro e shuka sapa wa che a u e wa ya ke yo he wa che a u e wa ya ke yo he. So that's the song. They still sing that song today. So that's similar to the clan system, that you still use that clan system. And if you use it, good things will happen. So, and that's a horse, that's an animal. So there are 4 things that Creator put on this earth. And the first thing that Creator put on this earth is medicine. Our people told us 20 billion years ago. That's a long time. The scientists told us that this planet is 45 billion years old. Wow, that's a big deal. Our people also told us 500 million years ago, Creator put animals and the things that have wing on this earth. And then Creator, little less than 2 million years ago, Creator put man on this earth. 4 colors of man, 4 nations of white man, 4 nations of red man, 4 nations of black man, 4 nations of yellow man, all over this world. That's quite a deal. And the message from Creator was, these are your relatives, those 4. And medicine, wing, animals, and men, human beings, those are your relatives. Live in harmony with them and live in a sustainable way. That was the message that Creator gave to people when he put people on this earth. And they all had those 4 nations. They all had a work to do. And so that's where the thing started from, all the way from 20 billion years ago. That's quite a deal to live like that. So that's what I understand. Do you know what my time is like, Amanda?
Yeah, we're nearing the end. So whenever you're ready to wrap up, we can ask a few more questions, or we can open it up for a few more questions. But we're at 3:20 right now, so I think
Okay. So we're going till what, 4 o'clock?
yeah, we can
Okay.
go right up until 4, or if you wanted to finish a bit early. Maybe we'll see. Does anybody have any questions? If you'd like to
I
unmute.
had tons, but I could keep him busy probably for 2 days. Anyways, I just want to express my deepest thank you for communication. And it's beautiful that like I wouldn't be in contact with you if it hadn't have been for the pandemic, and it hadn't been for Zoom and all the alternative ways of communicating that we had to have. But it's opened up my world like 100%. And I'm so deeply thankful for your time. And I'll put some. Is it okay to put tobacco down for you, because I can't give you tobacco? Like,
You make prayers. Go outside and make some prayers. And what I had said was, when you finished your prayers, put some tobacco on the ground. Yeah. And say thank you.
okay. Thank you.
We're having ceremony tomorrow evening, Friday, 7 o'clock. That must be, I don't know, 9 o'clock your time?
Yeah.
Because you live far away, I heard. So if you get a chance tomorrow at 9 o'clock or 9:30 or whatever, go outside, make some prayers, and we'll do the same.
Okay. Thank you. I will. Yes, I will. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Because I got another story to tell you.
Doesn't look like any more questions.
Okay. Here's another story. By the way, these are true stories of long ago. So they did happen. And those stories have been passed on from generation to generation. And we're still doing that to the young ones. We give those stories to the young ones at the school and in our families. So I'll tell another story. And then I'll finish it off with a joke. Everybody likes humor. Okay. So again, this big camp. Oh boy. Lots of different tribes, by the way. There's 7 different tribes in that big camp. Oxbekute, Oxbetua, Sisitua, all those there, Yahangtua, all of those different tribes, they live together in that one area. And by the way, our map, our map is our original map where the Dakotas live is way up there in Northwest Territories along the Alberta and Northwest Territories border. I went up there and I done a Sundance up there, and all the way down to the Florida coast. And I found some Dakota people in South Carolina, and they've been living there for hundreds of years. So that confirms the map that I have. So that's a big area. And the government took all of that land away. We used to have a big, large population at one time. And over here on the west side, there's 7 other tribes there. There's 14 different tribes in this big Dakota nation. There's 14 tribes there. So anyway, this big camp, the chief, he got up one morning and he found his daughter was missing. Oh boy. So he started to yell out, Empaha, come on over. My daughter's missing. Tell the council I want to have a meeting with them right away. So that was the council members quickly got to the teepee and the council teepee, and the chief said, my daughter's missing. I'd like some help. So again, they got 4 men, tall, strong, fast, not yet with women. I guess when they get with women, things don't go good, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, they took him into the ceremony and they gave him extra moccasins. And when they finished the ceremony, the ceremonial leader says, you go to the chief's house and you start from there. Sure enough, those 4 men, they went to the chief's house and they seen horse tracks. So away they went running, following these horse tracks. They ran for 3 or 4 days, early in the morning. So again, somebody heard something and they woke up the other 3 and they said, wake up, I heard some stuff. When they peeked around a corner, there was a great big camp there and they had horses there. And that's where those horse tracks lead to. Okay. Spread out, he said. One of them said, spread out. I want you to figure out if the chief's daughter is in one of those teepees. So they did. They spread out and they're watching and watching and watching. After 3 or 4 hours, one of the men came running back and he said, I spotted her. I spotted her. She's in that teepee over there. Well, we need to figure out how we're going to get her now. And as they were making their plans, someone spotted them. Oh boy, there's a big yell in the camp. Those 4 men took off running. Oh, what is it? Of course, they had horses, these people, so they chased them. They caught up to the last one, the 4th one, right away. They took a bow and arrow and killed him. They caught up to the 3rd one. They took a bow and arrow and they killed him. They caught up to the 2nd one. He was running way up there. They caught up to him, but the 1st one, he was way up there, really far away. Of course, the horses are still faster, so they eventually were just catching up to him when that man runs into a big cave, a stone cave. And the horseman came right up and they started shooting arrows into the cave. But the cave is made in such a way where the arrows weren't effective. So anyway, the man was inside there, he's huffing and puffing, trying to get his breath back. And it's dark in there and it's damp. And he's trying to blink his eyes so he could focus inside there. And pretty soon he was beginning to able to make something out in the dark of that cave. And he looked up and he seen these 2 big red eyes looking at him. Oh, he knew what that was. And he thought to himself, there's absolutely no way I'm going to get eaten by this grizzly bear. It's fall time. And the grizzly bear was already in there. So he could still eat a man if he wanted to. So he decided he's going to take his chance with the horsemen, the arrows and stuff. Just as he was going to run out, that great big grizzly bear, they told us he had claws that are 10 inches long. Oh boy, that's a big. And of course, he's like 9 or 10 feet high. Big, big. So anyway, he's just going to run out, and the grizzly bear, he put his hand right over his chest and he said, Hanaka, oh, wait a minute, he said to him. Oh, that man was surprised because that grizzly bear also was speaking Dakota. That used to be like that quite a long time ago. Anyway, the grizzly bear runs out. He grabs a few men and a few horses, and one swat of his hand will kill a horse very easily. So anyway, he comes running back in, and the man was surprised because he had arrows stuck inside of him. So he jumped up, he broke the arrows, he pulled it out, and he had a medicine pouch on the side here. He took some of that medicine, he put it into those holes where the arrows were. And again, they were surprised because they healed right away as soon as he'd done that. The bear turned around and went running out again and grabbed a few more horses and a few more men, and he killed them. Came running back in, and he got the arrows stuck inside again. The man jumped up and pulled it out, put the medicine on, and again he got healed up right away. And he was going to turn and run out again. And that man said, Hanakawo, he said, wait a minute. He said, I'm going to make a prayer. He said, so that man, and that bear there, that man was making a prayer. And he said, the creator, he said, all I wanted to do was just bring the chief's daughter home, he said. But for some reason, he said, these people, they want to kill us. We need your help, he said. As soon as he said that, it went dark. Remember, this was early in the morning. It went dark. So the grizzly bear says to the man, you know, he said, if you sneak out of here, they won't see you. He said, because they're further down there. He said, they're not right here anymore. If you sneak out of here, they're not going to see you. He said, you'll be able to make it home. Before you go, he said, I'm going to teach you 4 songs during this winter time. It's fall time already. I'm going to teach you 4 songs, he said, in the winter time. And tell your chief I'm going to come and visit him in the springtime. When I get there, he said, I want a great big teepee for me. And I want 13 pails of food in there, he said, ready for me. So those numbers and the instructions, they have some pretty significant meaning. There's a grizzly bear. There's a holy grizzly bear. So the man says, okay, thank you, Koda. Again, he called him Koda. In those days, well, still today for some people, when you say Koda, that's a big meaning. When you say friend to somebody, that's a big meaning, and you really mean friend. It means that you'll help him anytime, any way, and you'll give him stuff if he needs stuff. You're going to give it to him. That's the kind of that's what it means to be a friend in those days. It's kind of not like that. You just on your Facebook, you just go like that and to say that's my friend. That's all. It's way different. So okay, he said thank you, and away he went. Sure enough, they didn't see him. He made it home, and he told the chief, you know, we found out where your daughter is. He said, but they spotted us and they chased us and they killed my 3 friends. He said, the only reason why I'm alive, he said, is because the grizzly bear saved me. He said, I went running into his cave and he saved me. This grizzly bear, he's coming in the springtime, he said. He wants a great big teepee with 13 pails of food in there. And he's going to teach me 4 songs in the wintertime. It was already getting that winter already. And the chief told everybody, the whole camp, and everybody started getting stuff ready. And the women were sewing buffalo hides together to make that teepee. And the men and the women got some food together, ready for the grizzly bear. He's going to be mighty hungry in the springtime. And sure enough, in the wintertime, when that man was sleeping, he would hear a song. Oh, yeah. So, okay. So he remembers those 4 songs. He was given those 4 songs in the wintertime. In the springtime, well, I think it was early mid-morning. Nice, beautiful day. The sun was shining. It was getting spring, and there's a little bit of snow here and there, but most of it was gone. And the scout on the south side made a whistle. Everybody knows what kind of whistle that was. So they look over there, and here's somebody standing way up on top of the hill over there. And that man that he saved, he starts singing that first song. When he finished the first song, the grizzly bear stood up and he faced the camp. So he started singing the second song. When he finished the second song, the grizzly bear stood up again, facing the camp. By the time he finished the fourth song, the grizzly bear was right into the camp. There's a whole bunch of people outside. And there's great big teepee, and there's 13 pails of food inside. The grizzly bear goes right inside in the teepee. When he went inside, that man followed it. The one he saved, he followed him, and the chief went right behind him. And when they got inside, there's a whole bunch of elders sitting on the west side. And one of the elders, he said, "Thank you for coming." He said, "I have a good idea why you come. I'm going to sing you a song," he said. And he started to sing a song. And while he was singing the song, the grizzly bear and that man that he saved, they jostled each other all the way around the teepee, pretending to fight. And when they finished, they came around at the end, they finished. And another old man, the old man, he said to the grizzly bear, "Heyushka, thank you for coming." All in Dakota, they all spoke in Dakota. Heyushka means peacekeeper. Heyushka, he said, "Thank you for coming." And he started to sing. And when he was singing, the grizzly bear was eating those 13 pails of food. And when he finished eating those 13 pails of food, the man stopped singing. So the grizzly bear says to the chief, "This man from now on is going to be able to help you. Whatever it is that you need, this man will be the one to help you." I gave him my medicine to him. And so he goes out, and the man starts singing the fourth song when the grizzly bear started walking away. And when he finished the fourth song, the grizzly bear stood up and faced the camp. By the time he finished the first song, way up on top of the hill, the grizzly bear was standing over there facing the camp. And then he went out of sight. And so the man says, I know where your daughter is, and I know how to get her. So let's go and get her. We'll bring her back." So using that medicine, that's how the grizzly bear medicine. And today, we still use that grizzly bear medicine. I just used some yesterday. So we still use that for doing things, you know. And Every time there's a big feast somewhere, we sing that song, that peacekeeper song that man sang to that grizzly bear while he was eating, just to make sure that things are still carrying on, make things make things good. So that's we still sing that song when there's going to be a big feast honoring that grizzly bear. So that medicine, the grizzly bear left that medicine, it'll still work and things will be able to get done in a good way. So they still sing that song whenever they. And that song, I like to share that song with you once more, how that song is sung. Hey Yuska wotape, hey Yuska wotape, hey Yuska wotape, hey Yuska wotape, Wotape, hey Yushka, Wotape. So that's the song. So they sing that song four times, one to each direction. Make sure all the helpers and the ones that the different spirits, they're able to hear that song, and we're inviting them to eat this in this big feast. We include everybody. They eat first. The spirits eat first all the time. When they put food, you make prayer, sing that song, and then they eat first. And then when they're finished, then the people can eat after that. It used to be the men, they used to feed the men first. And then after they're finished, then the women and the kids ate. Then I figured out why they do that. It's because the women save the best food for themselves later. That's Amanda's joke.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I'd like to finish off with some questions, and then I'm going to sing you a song. And this song has great meaning, and I'll explain that to you when we're going to sing it. Is there any questions?
If, if you have a question, you're welcome to unmute your mic. You can speak your question, or if you'd like to put it into the chat, I can ask it for you. If there are no questions, then we'll finish up. I think everybody
right,
asked their
then.
questions earlier, so.
Okay. Let me see if I can tell a joke before I sing this song. My friend Willie and I, he came from the same community as I did. He's a little older than me. And Willie and I done everything together. Oh boy, we worked together. We played hockey together. We sang powwow together. We danced powwow. We joined the army. We done all kinds of things together. When Willie was 3 years old, both his parents died, some kind of sickness. And he got adopted by another mom and dad right away. No papers signed, nothing. Just, come on, you're going to live with us now. And they took him up and they raised him up over there. Willie became a carpenter. Oh, he was a good worker. And Willie likes to joke around lots, just like his adopted dad. Oh boy, he just like to have fun. So this Willie grew up to be a carpenter. He moved to the nearby town, and there's lots of work over there. One day when he was about 30 years old, 35 years old, somewhere around there, he came home for Christmas and with his family, adopted family, and he had some Christmas holidays with him, and it was just cold. Oh boy, it was cold. So anyway, um, uh, Willie, it's coming to New Year's, and Willie said to his dad, Baha, he said, I really would like to take some meat home. I really miss that meat, he said. So early the next morning, uh, the, his dad hitched up the horses and a big sleigh, put the stove and a tent and a hay and all kinds of stuff in their food, all the things you need to go hunting. And away they took off early in the morning. And they got there late at night. I think just about midnight. That's how far it was when they got over there. They cleared the snow off. They put the tent up and they cut some wood and they put it in the stove. They heated up the stove. They took the harness off the horses. They gave them some hay and it was just cold. And they had a little bit to eat and then they fell asleep. Next morning they got up. They had something to eat and away they went. One goes that way and one goes this way in deep snow, trying to get something to take home. And this is going on for 2 or 3 days already. And they came home, nothing. It was maybe too cold, deep snow. They were way in a valley, far away. And when they had supper that night, that's all they had left was a little wee piece of bannock and some tea. So that old man, he says, tomorrow, he said, if we don't get nothing, we're going to go home. Okay, that Willie said. Oh, he was. And then his mind started to work. And then he says to Baha, the one who has the best dream will eat that bannock in the morning. Oh, that old man was happy. Okay, he said, okay. They fell asleep. Of course, Willie, he likes to joke around. He got up early in the morning. He called out, Baha, what kind of dream you had? That old man was awake already. No, he said, that old man, no. He says, you first, you. Oh, Baha, Willie said, Baha, I had a really good dream, he said. In my dream, he said, I seen these stairs going up. I really wanted to know where those stairs lead to, he said. So I climbed up. Baha, he said, I went right through the clouds, he said. Up there, he said, the sun is shining. There's trees, birds singing, flowers, green grass. Oh boy, I had a good dream, he said. Baha, what kind of dream you had? And that old man, he said, yeah. I seen you going up them stairs, he said. I knew you weren't coming back. That's why I ate the bannock, he said. So that's quite a story. Those two are the real jokers. They're gone now, of course, they're up there. And every once in a while, I make prayers to ask for help from those two. Yeah, and I make offering to them. Of course, it's bannock. I like to give them bannock and tea. So anyway, this old man, he had a talk to these young people, young men, oh, a bunch of them. And after he finished talking, he said, is there anything, any thing you'd like to say? He asked any of those young men, he asked them, do you have anything to say? And one of them said, yeah, I got something. Ukan, Grandpa, he said, I have something to say. You know, for a few years now, he said, I've been having dreams about the buffalo. And oh boy, he said, these last year, I had dreamed buffalo all the time now, he said. Before it used to be just every once in a while. Now it's almost like every 2 or 3 days I dream about the buffalo. He said, is there something I can do about that? And that old man, he said, you come back on Wednesday. Come to my house on Wednesday. We have ceremony there. You come then. Okay. So, of course, this was Monday. So the old man came home and they went to bed. They go to bed early. And he's getting on in age. He must be about like 90 years old. So he had a little bit of soup and he went to bed 8 o'clock, sleeping. Early in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, somebody was shaking his bed. He woke up and he looked, and here's two spirits standing at the foot of his bed. Grandson, they said to him, we brought you a song. And they both started to sing that song. And when they finished the song, the spirits told him, this is a bear song. He said, you sing this song for somebody who knows about the bear. Don't sing it any old time, he said, or else your day will be no good. Oh, thank you, he said, thank you. And those spirits disappeared. In the morning, the old man woke up and, Buffalo woman, cook me some breakfast there. I want to feed those two spirits that came early this morning. They gave me a song, he said. She said, she's cooked something. So when she's finished, he lifted up the food. He held it up like this. And to those two Conscidas that came this morning and gave me a song, thank you. He said, thank you. I want you to eat this food. Thank you, he said. And then after, in a little while, 2 or 3 minutes, then him and his wife, they ate that food. When I didn't know he was my grandpa, I didn't know that until much later. His name is Willie. He doesn't belong to our community. He belongs down in the Wakita tribe. So up here, he came up and he visited one of my teachers. And here he called him Dikshi. Holy smokes. That's your uncle? Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. So that means I must be related to you too then. So I called him Uka from then on, Grandpa, my teacher. I didn't know that. So those two, I didn't know he was my grandpa, and I didn't know he was my grandpa. One is the older grandpa, and this one's the older grandpa. This younger guy, he's 70 years old when he came. That man came and he told him, long time ago, when he was a young man, this man, my great grandpa, he was a medicine man. And he said, a young man came to me and he told me he had dreams about the buffalo all the time, he said. So I told him to come to my house at ceremony time Wednesday. In the meantime, he said, early in the morning, the two spirits came and gave me a song and told me it's about the buffalo for people who know about the buffalo. So when he came to the ceremony the next day, I sang him that song, he said. So I carried the song now for a long time, he said. He's about 90 years old. So anyway, he told his nephew is 70 years old. He said, "You know lots of songs." He said, "Oh boy, you're a good singer, and you know lots of songs. I'm gonna give you this song." He said, "You're gonna have this song." The two Tukashidas, they taught me this song, so I'm gonna give you that song. Okay, he said he's a good singer and he can pick up a song just like that. So he sang that song and he gave him that song. Oh, thank you, he said. He put a blanket over his shoulder and he gave him something to eat. And he gave him some money too to go home. He come from a long ways. So shortly after he went home, that old man, my great grandpa, he passed away. When my Ukam, my teacher, when he was about 94 years old, he called me. "Can you come to my house?" He said. "Oh, okay." I went over and here he is sitting on his chair, his favorite chair. He's pretty old now. He said, "My Dick Shee, my uncle gave me this song," he said. And he gave me that song just before he passed away, he said. And I look all the way around and I don't see anybody except you. He said, "You next, you're going to carry this song next," he said. And he started singing that song. He's a good singer. So when he finished that song, I said, "Oka, I'm very, very poor." I said, I can't, I'd like you, I want to tape this song because I want to learn it the right way. I want to sing it the right way. Okay, he said. So I taped that song and he sang it again and I taped it. And so shortly after, he gave me that song. I said, "From now on," I said, "wherever you want to go, I'll take you. Wherever you want to go, I'll drive you." Okay, he said. That's how much I treasured that song. So it wasn't long after, I took him to a few places, actually quite a few places. I wanted to continue to do that. In a little while, he passed away. So I have this song and I sing it to people who know about the buffalo. So far, I sang it 4 times. One to my sister, one to my brother, and one to a man who looks after the buffalo, and one to another young man who looks after the buffalo too. Those 2 young men, they're very kind to the buffalo. They treat them really good. So my sister has a ceremony for buffalo, and my brother also has ceremony for buffalo. So I sang that song 4 times. Maybe perhaps I might sing it again sometime to somebody who knows about the buffalo. I don't sing that song very often, but this morning when I got up at 5, I remembered that old man, the one who gave me that song. And so I said to him, "I'm ready. If you want to tell me something, I'm ready." So I lay awake for a while and this morning and nothing came. So I got up, I made some coffee for him and I gave him a cup of coffee. He died a long time ago. I made a cup of coffee for him this morning. "Oh God, let's have some coffee," I said. "Thank you. I remember you. I remember you this morning." So through that memory, I'd like to share this song with you. That song is I might give this song to one of my sons, maybe if they look after that themselves. I might be passing that song on to them, and they'll have that song next. But here's that song. It's I really, truly am missing those two people who my great grandpa and my teacher, my uka, my grandpa. And that song, it goes like this. Oh, mitake was. Thank you. Thank you. So that's the end of the deal.
Thank you so much, Wanbdi. I always feel like when we get a chance to hear somebody sing it, it always feels a little extra special. So thank you. Thank you so much. And we got to hear two of your songs, so it was great. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us today and taking the time to share with us. It's really important, I think, that we continue to make time to hear these teachings and these stories and these important things, so that, like you mentioned before, we can continue keeping these stories alive. I think that's very important. And the work that you do as keeper of this knowledge, a knowledge keeper, a grandfather, I think that it's very valuable, and as an organization and personally even, I'm very thankful and grateful to have the time and the opportunity to sit and listen for a bit. So thank you very much.
Okay.
So we're going to finish off here, and I see everybody's kind of sharing their thank yous in the chat, which I'll send to you as well, so you can go through and read those for yourself, Wanbdi. But just for a quick reminder that if for some reason you missed part of today's session, it'll be available on our website in a day or so. If you have any follow-up questions or would like to connect with Wanbdi via email, you can email me. I will quickly put my address in here again. It's admin@anish.ca, and I can help connect you with him as well.
I any of you can phone me at any time. It's up to you.
Mhm. Well,
Do you have my number, Amanda?
I don't, I think, is it on your website? I don't have your number no. Do you want to share it?
250-5633.
Okay, and that's a Manitoba number.
Yeah,
Okay,
204.
all right, so I'll share that and
Yeah.
yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, take care, everyone. We'll
Yes.
see you again.
Stay safe, stay warm, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks, Wanbdi.
Oh,
Hoorah,
Dakota.
hoorah.
Thank you.
Thank you.